Man, before I add those eyelashes, she's a little scary. What's up everyone? Chelsea of Studio here, and today we are doing something a little different. What's up everyone? Welcome back to the studio. So today, and for the next 3 videos, including this one, we are going to just be looking at a couple speed drawings because I am very busy preparing for something super exciting that is happening in my business. I was accepted into a brick and mortar store, so my first consignment store, and I am super excited, but with that comes a ton of work. And because of that, I have decided to give myself a little time, and rather than taking a break from YouTube, I wanted to instead do a little more of a simple video. That way I can still see you guys every week, but can also have time to prepare for the store. So for the next 3 videos, including this one, I will be doing a speed paint and a voiceover with the speed paint for you guys so you can see some of my work and still get your Chelsea of Studio fix for the week. So let's go ahead and get started with this week's video. My shirt at the very beginning of this video was sort of a hint as to what I would be painting for you guys today. This is the print for my September print club, and I chose to draw and paint Queen Anna as cosplayed by LadyThera. So previously I had drawn out and then also masked off the edges, so that weird cream-like halo around her. That is masking fluid that has dried. So I decided I wanted to kind of use the color palette from Some Things Never Change, where it was like a really pretty blue background, and then those autumn trees. So I was trying to kind of mimic it here, but with backgrounds especially, they kind of start taking on their own life. I try to make the backgrounds not the focus, but I think this one worked out really well for this particular piece. As you can see, the colors are evolving. I'm layering on 1 leaf at a time and just choosing different colors, going from light to dark, which is how I always paint my watercolors. Now I'm just cleaning up things that I've messed up and then cleaning up the edges, adding more layers of leaves to add some depth. And then I went back in with a bright orange to cover up that really pastel base coat that I had done and make it pop a little bit better. And then I really liked how in the color palette of Some Things Never Change, it looks like there's some purple in the atmosphere. So I decided to add the purple, and then I went a little crazy with it. And so the background seems a little more purple than I intended, but I really liked it. So I decided to just keep going. And then of course I wanted to add in some branches just to make it obvious that this was a tree. And here I'm adding more of that purple halo around the tree with the blue peeking through in the center. Backgrounds are one of my favorite things to do with a watercolor specifically because it gives me a little bit more freedom than I have with the semi-realistic people that I tend to paint. So whenever I'm working with a model, like a cosplayer like I am here, I tend to be a little bit of a tight painter. And I try to get everything as close to the realistic aspect as I can while keeping my style. And with backgrounds, I don't really have to do that. I can just make them as bright and colorful as I want them to be, or I can just kind of let my imagination run wild with them. So I really love that part about doing backgrounds. Now that I've added everything that I think I want to add, I'm removing the masking fluid from around her. You can see that I got the orange inside a little bit, but those areas are going to be covered up by some of the paint, so I am not too worried about lifting those. Also, it's really difficult to lift off of cold press, which is the paper that I'm using. It's not textured, so it's really nice to paint on, but it's really difficult to get rid of those mistakes. Here I'm just going in with all my base layers of my colors, trying to add one little layer at a time and just steadily getting darker and darker as I go. In pictures, for some reason, this dress looks super green, but I feel like this camera angle has captured better what the dress color actually is. And matching skin tones is always super difficult, which is why I put down a base layer first, because I know that I am gonna want to keep it lighter than it truly is. And here I'm masking off the gold details that I will paint in later, because this part of her dress is black. And then under her cape, this purple is so pretty. I love it so much. Now I'm going back to the face. I messed up on those lips quite a bit, so I kept having to erase them. And then shading in the face. The brush that I'm using is the Winsor & Newton Cotman brushes, and they are so wonderful for soft blending because they are soft brushes. So if you are having trouble blending, definitely recommend these brushes because they are super soft. This red one, however, is a little bit of a tougher brush, so it doesn't blend as easily, but it's good for hard edges, which is why I used it to add details to the mouth and the eyebrows. Man, before I add those eyelashes, she's a little scary, but I chose to do that with a pen. Why make your life harder if you're trying to use a paintbrush? I could, I just choose not to because it's a lot faster with the pen. So anything that has a hard edge to a fade, I use these red brushes for, but if it's supposed to be entirely soft, then I will use the blue brush. And then I'm adding a little bit of depth by adding a little bit of blue to the shadows. Gives it a little bit more realism. Our skin is made up of so many colors, so just using a skin tone doesn't actually look realistic. Now I'm painting in the dress, and I painted in all the jewelry as well. I actually had to mix most of this black because I don't keep a black in my color palette. So this black that you're seeing I mixed, which I'm not a huge fan of doing, and I have since gotten a black watercolor for these instances. It uses so much paint to mix black. Now I'm adding wrinkles and details and shading to the dress. There's not a whole lot of that I can do on the black portion, so I just kind of decided to leave it there. I will go over, I think, maybe one more time. Yeah, there it is. To get it nice and flat. And this part is also something that I enjoy quite a bit, and this is kind of like your final cleanup. So here I'm starting to really see color differences that I need. I'm gonna go ahead and add in like details, get rid of the masking fluid, and do the gold portions. I don't always paint in gold. A lot of times I'll just paint it yellow, and then I will add hand-painted gold embellishments to the prints and to the original, but I think with this one I did choose to actually paint in the gold. I keep meaning to do a tutorial on painting gold. Painting gold is very, very easy. Actually, anything shiny is so easy to paint compared to anything textured or soft. Now I'm adding the wrinkles to the cape, and I remember shading the cape was really difficult because it was such a bright purple. It was really easy to push it just a little bit too far. And I really enjoy painting hair also, but it takes so many layers, so that's why you'll see me bounce around a lot. I have to let a layer dry if I'm overworking it, and then I'll move back and let that layer dry, and I bounce around. That way it's easier for the watercolor to be controlled, and it also doesn't bleed into each other whenever I do that. You can layer up your watercolors a lot easier if you're patient enough to let your layers dry in between. And if you're not, just use a hairdryer. I mentioned that in one of my previous videos. I'll put that card up here for you. The hairstyle that she has in this portrait is so beautiful, and it was really, really fun to paint. Let me know in the comments below if you also enjoy painting hair, or if it's something that you find really challenging and you'd like me to do a video on it, let me know that as well. I had a lot of trouble with the bangs. I think I ended up turning this upside down a couple of times just to be able to get them right. And that's just because when I pull to the right, it's easier for me, but pulling down to the left was difficult. Now I finished the hair, and all the rest of this is just final touch-up. So now I'm going into the crown and painting in between, making it actually look the way it is. Cleaning up those edges where the masking fluid was, just because masking fluid's not always perfect, so definitely pays to clean up the edges. I'm also adding some white ink to some of this jewelry, and I'm going in and just editing the skin a little. And now I'm peeling the tape. And voila! That's what she looks like at the end. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was fun to see a little bit of the behind the scenes of whenever I do a painting and to actually see the full process of the painting, even though it was sped up. As always, if you guys want to see more artwork from me, or if you want to join me on my consignment shop journey, check out all my social medias. I will be posting there as I progress through this chapter. And check out my website so you can see what I still have in stock after I do all of the inventory for the shop. Other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you next week. Bye!